So, you want to be a contractor. Ever wonder what it takes to become a contractor? The journey they go on to get where they are now, or the crazy things they see and hear on the job site? Well, you're in the right spot. Welcome to So You Want to Be a Contractor, the podcast. Join your host, Mike Fisher, as he talks to owners of construction companies from all over about how they got started, how they run their business, and some of the craziest stories they've experienced on their job sites. And now, your host, Mike Fisher.
Welcome to So You Want to Be a Contractor. This is episode number 14. My name is Mike Fisher. My guest today is a return customer, return guest on my previous show. So welcome back, Lance Smith, owner of Smith & Sons Construction. How you doing, man?
Good. How's it going, guys? Good to be back with you guys on your new platform and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. In the meantime, Lance has also come on board as a client, so we got that relationship going as well. So I got to make sure not to screw that up and lose any business. But we'll.
I think you're doing just fine, buddy.
We appreciate that.
Us out, quite a bit. So.
Very good. Cool. Well, let's get right into it, man. Let the listeners know kind of yourself, how you got to where you are now, and what you guys do at Smith & Son.
So, I was a union guy before this. Make it short and sweet this time.
That's all good, man.
Kind of worked my ranks up and ended up being really good at what I did and management and, my people's person. So, really, really good with all those traits and a strong suit of mine. So I cashed in everything and went to start my own gig. And 5 years later now, we're doing better than ever. So definitely was worth the risk. I'll say that.
Yeah. And risk is the key word there, especially in California, right? So what was that driving, motivating factor for you to, kind of leave the guarantee work and cash in everything you had to start on your own?
All these unions, great. I mean, they take care of their guys. That's one thing they have done for years, and I will always be a firm believer in that. I actually still pay my dues to this day, just in case something ever does happen. I know I got a home somewhere. My whole deciding factor was one, what I wanted in life. You're not going to afford on a regular salary, but my biggest driving factor has been just to be a part of something and be somebody that people depend on and look forward to working for, and looking forward to being at this company, because all these other companies I was at, at the end of the day, you're a number. And I'm sure a lot of guys listen to this will agree with that are in that stage in their life. And just to create something different that I could do how I wanted to and how I see fit as of now, that's really why I went all in on this.
Yeah, there's definitely that legacy factor, right? Leaving something behind and building something on your own and being able to kind of put your mark on the industry.
On your own, yeah. Because a lot of these companies, and hey, if someone could hand me a well-oiled machine that's producing and creating good profit margins and it has a good, sticks and bones to the company, then that's awesome. But the real test is starting from literally nothing with no contacts, no idea on how crazy this really gets at times. And it's all about, finding that network that works with you. And it takes a long time to get there. And I'm not even 50% there, but I'm to where I am in 5 years. And look us up on Google.
Yeah, no, I mean, you guys obviously, seeing it from the insurance side, I've seen the numbers grow and seen them grow. So you're obviously doing the right stuff. And like you said, it's one thing to be great at what you do and be good at your craft, but it's completely different to step into the business owner and owning a business and running a business and like you said, generating the the income for, you know, the employees you have, right? Like you're now responsible to make sure that the people have a job and people have work to do
And
and
they
they're able
have their
to take a
families that
paycheck
are
home.
depending on them as
Yeah.
being their provider too, you know. So it, and I'm a big thinker, you know, like I play out a situation way before it even comes to that. And I look at the worst thing that could happen, you know, like I got these guys that show up every day. Like that's the, you know, that's my main thing every day is to make sure all these guys get at least 40 hours a week,
Right.
you know, and it is a grind to do it. And to keep 10 guys going, you know, 40 hours a week that are high producing volume numbered guys, it's a lot of work. And I tried to do it alone. No.
Right. Yeah.
And the team that I have behind me here in my office, my fiance, she's a fucking rock star. Excuse the language,
No,
but
you're good.
you know she's really awesome. She's the heart of this operation, and really makes a big impact and has helped us get to where we are now. Even from when we were on your show last, that's when she really stepped in.
Yeah.
Is when we got a little traction from you guys off the first one, and it's been great. So.
It maybe speak that a little bit. Is she the only one that you have working in the office, or did you guys bring on some more people? Or I mean,
No,
that's a big step to take, right? To realize you can't do it all on your own and be able to kind of hand some of those things off and delegate some of those tasks
yeah.
with your
So
baby, basically.
it's me and her in here, and I kind of we like it this way too because we're more we see every bit of everything, and the teams that we have around us though with you guys is one. Anything we have questions with audits, anything like that, boom, hey, you know, can you guys take care of us? Yep, send us an email, what you need, we'll get it over to you. So, and she's got that mindset too, where she knows that the players around her are going to determine her success as well. So, we're really tight with that, and it's a lot on me and her. You know, we don't get the luxury of having all a bunch of free time and being able to do
Right.
things
Right.
and that kind of nature, but it works out.
So, kind of taking back to the beginning, right? Like you decided you're going to start on your own, and you do all the paperwork and all the legal stuff and do all those things, and you've got a business that can operate, and you've got your license, and where do you go from there, right? What's the next step for you? What were some of those challenges, kind of right when you got started?
So when I first got started, I had a really good contact for medical buildings, doing tenant improvements there, and then that kind of gave us a little bit of our legs in the beginning, and then that went away completely. Unforeseen circumstances.
I was going to say unexpected, or was that
Yeah,
just
no,
kind of came to an end?
100%, and it really turned upside down. But that's beyond that. But after that, it was like, okay, well, what do we do? You know, so it was kind of like we just started pumping everything we could. We went to the sites that I was telling you about before with the thumbtacks and the build zooms and the Angie's List and the HomeWise and just started investing back into the company. And we've seen the traction that had, and because you know, when I was doing it myself, cool, I would make my money, put my money away, pay my one or two guys that I had, and you know, that was it. And we needed more than that. So with moving with all that, it really just made such a difference with everything. And yeah, that's kind of where that
Yeah,
went.
and those things are sometimes a little bit difficult to deal with, right? I mean, those are situations where you're really being grinded on price, right? I would have to imagine a lot of
Yeah.
the times. And so, what was it? I mean, there's got to be a challenge there to be able to stay profitable, but also, you know, be able to quote unquote win enough work. You know, working through those sites and some of those different avenues.
Yeah, it's definitely a balance game. And sometimes you'll go on a wild goose chase. You know, they'll send you to these little $2,000-3,000 jobs that you make $500-600 off at the end of the day after paying everything. But you just kind of gotta hope for the best and try to meet and mingle with other people on your way. Because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be able to go where we are going right now. And finding the people through paying your dues initially.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to get at too. I'd have to imagine a lot of your mindset at that point is probably, hey, do these jobs, do them well, make an impression. Like you said, network, meet as many people as you can. That way, kind of build that referral network so that you're not,
Yep,
relying on some of those
100%.
websites. Yeah.
100%. And now we've got pretty much off of all of those. We've got into a bunch of commercial realty stuff on big high rises and stuff like that. So that's been a really good thing. And we've got a couple clients lined up for big ADUs and stuff for a residential side that we keep going to. So we have a set of residential guys now and a full commercial guys. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
And so how did that, I'm curious kind of just how that developed, right? How did you go from, and obviously we've touched on it a little bit with the networking, but was there something specific, a specific relationship or something that was done that got you from doing that? So where you are now?
So where we got into the full-time commercial thing is when we actually got this building that we're in now. Very shortly after our first visit with you on your old platform. So we got this building, ended up meeting one of the people from the company that owns our building. And she said, hey, well, we're looking for a contractor to do this. We've seen you guys just moved in, you're a GC. And it's been history ever since. So
wow.
Yeah,
just, we
didn't make much off of it. I look to build the relationship, so.
I was going to say, yeah, it's even one of those things where you don't really care if you make too much money on those first couple, if it's going to result in a long-term relationship. Yeah.
And that's kind of how this whole thing is too. Like the beginning of starting this company was budget, live on the bare minimum, bare necessities to be able to put that money back into it,
Yeah.
It's like planting a tree outside. The love you give to it and the care that you give back to it, it tells you what your tree's going to be in 20 years from now.
Right. So you said now you guys have a full residential division and a full commercial division where you guys are doing TI work and then also some construction on the residential side as well?
Yes, sir.
And it's all like word of mouth and relationship driven right now?
Yeah. It's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, that makes it fun and makes it a little bit less stressful, right? When you've got business coming in. Are you at the point where you're kind of turning down work or kind of being able to be a little selective right now on what you guys are doing?
We're turning down a lot of work.
Okay.
Just because we're booked to this time next year.
Yeah.
So and
that's a good position to be in, right? Like it's kind of like the life cycle of a startup, right? Like where you're gonna say yes to anything and like you say, kind of scrape by bare bones, whatever you can, and then you get to the point where maybe you're saying yes to a lot, but really just those selective ones. And now you're at the point where you're only taking the best of the best because you have that ability and that luxury to say no, right? Because you've got enough work incoming. Is there plans to grow a little bit larger so you can take a little bit more?
Yeah. We're always trying to grow. I just don't want to get too big too fast. I've seen a lot of failures in a lot of different businesses, not just construction, fail that way. So I'm very strategic on the moves we make and where we put our money and with expansion and everything like that. And right now with how the world is and everything going on, we're going into some scary times. Running these trucks around the Bay Area at an average of about $6 a gallon with fuel it's not a cheap week.
No, I have to imagine. So maybe kind of speak to that a little bit. How does your budget change? How do you fix those issues that come up, kind of unexpectedly? Some of those, from a budgeting standpoint, it's got to be a nightmare when you've already bid these jobs months ago and kind of had all these costs, and now they're inflated to 15-30% higher.
A lot of times when we bid something, we put an expiration date on our estimates. It's a 10-day period, which a lot of guys don't do, and they keep them for 6-7 months. And I've had a couple clients where like, hey, well, look, this was this price this month. That this month it's this price. The material inflation is pure agony, honestly. It's one
Right.
day it's this, and the next day it's that. Then we're going this way, then we're going that way. It's crazy, man. And everybody,
Mostly this way though, right?
yeah, it's insane. I mean, go buy a sheet of 3/4 plywood right now. I bought pressure treated 4x4s this morning, 8-footers, common, super common. We were getting them for $2-3 before. $19.99 for one.
Ugh.
Yep.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
So I mean, where do you go with that? Like, granted, I mean, how is that received from a customer standpoint? When I mean, are people kind of seeing how you have to kind of adapt with this stuff, or
Yeah.
they get
And
yeah,
I'm a really open guy with our estimates to our clients, so I line item everything out so they can see
yeah,
per linear foot to square footage to everything. So it's pretty clear for them to kind of understand. I even show our overhead and profit on the jobs. I'm not,
yeah,
that's what separates me from a lot of guys too, because they'll put this big scope together for this job and this giant number at the bottom. Where'd that number come from,
yeah, yep.
So,
No idea of how you got there.
yeah, but with the cost inflations, I mean, our costs have went up too, just across the board. So our prices have went up. I mean, there's no, sugarcoating it. And I'll tell all
Right.
my clients, that day, hey, we're not the cheapest. If we're bidding work, and you can either take it or leave it. It's crazy right now with the times we're in and the inflation, and hopefully it starts driving back down. But yeah, it's kind of not looking too good for us over here.
It's got to be maddening seeing some of those bills come in when you're used to them at one number and now they're 30 or 40, sometimes 50% higher.
I mean, 2019, our fuel bill for the year was about 75 grand. This year, probably pushing close to 200 grand.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's
It's it's pretty wild out there, huh?
it's insane. It is
Yeah,
insane. I mean, and then here in the Bay Area, we have 5 bridges to cross, to go from different places, and
yeah,
they've raised the tolls on that. It's
yeah.
crazy. I mean, just any everyday items are more expensive too now, so it's rough. We're in some crazy times, people.
I mean, growing is got to be scary, right? When you see that kind of stuff, but at the same time, like you said, you've got enough incoming opportunity that you almost kind of have to, right, to kind
Yeah,
of
there's no
stay ahead of that
choice.
kind of stuff.
There's no
Yeah,
choice at that point because weight broke the wagon. So,
right,
we can't just wait around and wait for it to come again because who knows if it will, So
right,
that's with this business, it's a gamble, So you either make your strategic move and you win, or you make a shitty move and lose.
right. So then hiring's got to be pretty top of mind for you. Is there a specific strategy you have, or something you look for when you're bringing people on, or what does how do you solve that puzzle?
I'm really good with people. Like I can read people really well. Not to say I'm some crazy mind reader or nothing like that.
Right, right,
And if somebody's tells me one thing and says they can do this, I can kind of tell 90% of the time if they're BSing or if they're serious. But we'll give them a week on the job. We'll put them with whatever foreman we see fit that their skills are best for where they are, and what they're going to be, whether a laborer, a carpenter, a floor guy, a painter, an electrician. We have all of our own in-house guys. That's another thing, a little
Right.
different here, um, so yeah, we kind of just gamble on them, I mean, we've went through probably 15 guys, trying guys out this year.
And how successful were of the 15? How many of them stick?
5 stuck, 4 stuck,
5.
4.
I mean, that's not terrible,
No,
especially if you're giving them about a week, right? I mean, it's
they're not cheap guys
not too
either,
terrible of
so
a. Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
But I mean, it's better than bringing them on, and then after 30, 60, 90, 6 months,
yeah,
then you realize they're not working out, and like you said, I mean, what is the old adage, right? Slow to hire, quick to fire.
and
Yeah, I mean,
it's
the longer you let it go on, the harder it is to kind of let them go.
exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's hard now. Like, unfortunately, work ethics have went so far down the drain. With these newer generations, there's no grit, there's no
right.
grind.
No drive.
I mean, you have to watch every word that you say and how you say it, and it's crazy. It's really crazy, honestly. It it's mind-boggling. I'd like to see where construction is in 50 years from now.
Right,
It,
right.
just the rate we're going, it's insane. We're gonna have robots doing it here soon enough.
Yeah. So kind of to that point of the labor force changing and having to kind of adapt to that as far as how you operate, on the communication side. It's one thing to be good with people and know how to communicate and kind of, like you said, read them or kind of understand where they're coming from. And I think I have a little of that too, right? I was in restaurant management and restaurants for a very long time. So a lot of that comes with customer service. But where 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 do you go? I mean, you were in the field and you thought, hey, I'm going to do this on my own. No, not that I know of, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong. No formal schooling or training or anything like that on business operation or communication or any of that kind of stuff, right? That some people may have in your position as a business owner running a company. Where do those skills come from for you? Like where do you learn how to speak to people? So that is it something you just had to screw up and know that, oh shit, I can't say that
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
or,
It's
or
all
was there
trial
something
and
that
error,
you
man.
did?
Like,
Yeah,
I barely finished high school. I went to continuation school. I couldn't even make it into real high school. But it was just because my priorities were so messed up. That's the thing. Anybody can do this. There's nothing special about me. I get up every day and I try my best. Every day, and that's really all you can do. There's nothing. There's no secret sauce. There's no book you're gonna read that's gonna tell you how to do everything. You've got to get out there and learn it, real life experiences, and fail. Fail big. There's no success without failure.
yeah, and I think that's the important part. I think there's a lot of people in your position that may think, hey, I'm not ready to do this. I can't do this part. I can't do this. I need to bring somebody on to do this or hire somebody to do that because they feel like they may not know how. But like you said, it's almost one of those situations where
Yeah.
just do it, and if you do it right, congratulations, awesome. Now you know you know the right way to do it. If you do it wrong, you do it again and change it up a little bit and figure it out.
100%. You have to keep trying.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
gets and you're gonna have your slumps. Every week's not perfect. You're gonna deal with problems every day, even when you got your shit in line. You're still gonna
right,
deal with
right,
real life problems, or a guy you needed to be at that job that day, something happened, they couldn't make it, whether it be family related, vehicle related, or he didn't show up for some reason. You never know.
right.
But
Yeah,
there's always hurdles you're going to jump over. You just got to keep on jumping, man.
yeah. So kind of on that a little bit, what's maybe two parts to the question here. What's the biggest hurdle you have to jump like kind of on a daily basis? Like, man, something that really just grinds you. And then also, what was your biggest failure? Right? Like, where did you fail the hardest and learn the most?
So I wouldn't say that big hurdles to jump over every day. I guess it would just be supply chains right now, man. It's crazy, you
Yeah.
know. That's where I'm having my issues right now is lead times and availabilities and productions on things. It's crazy.
Yeah. Kind of managing that is
Yeah, well,
kind of be a
you're
nightmare for
having to
sure.
go to every vendor from Timbuktu, and everyone's prices are jacked up at the same time, and then you're having to go to a vendor that you don't know to find something that they have that nobody else does, and they're 20-30% higher in cost too. So that's kind of where I'm struggling at right now,
Yeah.
for that.
No, I can imagine that's definitely probably pretty frustrating, kind of not knowing on a day-to-day basis where things are coming from and what the costs are going to be for sure.
And the next one was the biggest loss.
Your biggest failure kind of through this process, right? Like, where did you say, oh man, this might end me, this might sink me, something that,
Fortunately, I haven't had something like that. I thought the whole COVID thing was gonna like really put a pump to us and push us back, and we weren't really too big before COVID. But that's really it. All these different variants were kind of trippy, and you know all this vaccine stuff
right?
was a trip too. That was kind of a questionable thing, but none of them ended up happening, and we didn't really have to deal with nothing crazy. We got more busy, if anything. So I don't think.
Yeah, and was that kind of on the residential side? I know that when we talked to a lot of people through that process, kind of when we were going through it. Actually, I mean, I started my last podcast kind of right before the very first. Well, I guess right when it started, right? So we talked to a lot of people through that. But well, did you see a lot of growth on the residential side? I feel like there was a lot of people that, especially in the beginning when they were forced
Sitting
to sit
at
at home, kind of look
home,
around.
nothing better to do.
Yeah,
The wife's telling the husband
yeah,
she wants this done, and he doesn't want to do it.
yeah,
Yeah, we've seen a lot of people coming in at that time, and for really random things too. You know, we get
So
some
is there
strange
something you
calls
guys?
sometimes.
Is there anything you guys? I mean, I would have to imagine controlling your labor and kind of keeping that in house and having all those guys at your fingertips and in your control, quote unquote. Um, you're able to kind of pivot and do a lot of different types of projects. But is there something you guys kind of specialize in, either on the residential or commercial side, or jobs that you like to do more than others?
No, we specialize in being able to show up and start it and finish it at this company. You know, um, maybe
Yeah,
not the big excavating jobs and stuff like that. Um, but I mean, foundations and stuff like that, yeah, all day long. We just do them ourselves. But that's what it is. You know, we show up as the Smith and Son, and no subs walk,
everybody has that
no
T-shirt
subs
on,
walk
and
through that
everybody,
door.
yeah, yeah,
You know, it's a
yeah,
one man band being us. You know, so and it works a lot better because some of these GCs will have a drywall company they're using, they're a taping company
right.
they're using, they're having a lighting company, an electrical company they're using, and it get your profit margins go down, and now you're managing all these other companies that you don't know where they're at, you know, how they're doing with this, you know, their schedule for you. So there becomes a lot more factors that way too to deal with. I wanted something that I could paint the picture and we could finish it and frame that picture, you know.
Yeah, no, there's definitely. If I'm playing devil's advocate, right? I mean, obviously, you say there's cost and quality control that you can't really or costs that go up in quality that you can't really control when you're bringing in subs, right? But the flip side of that, the devil's advocate piece of that says, yeah, but that's also, guys that you don't have to employ, and guys that you don't have to train doing specialized labor, and being able to do a number of things, and multiple different types of jobs, because you can just bring somebody else who specializes in it. So kind of, yeah, obviously pros and cons of both, and you're in a very unique position, I think, personally. I don't know that there are many guys out there with as many employees as you have that are doing everything on their own, right? So most of the time it's somebody that has only one or two employees, they can frame out and remodel a kitchen, or, frame out and remodel a bathroom or something like that. But once in most situations, once you get to the point where you're doing bigger, more complex jobs that require more employees, a lot of these guys start subbing things out. So, what was? I mean, I think you've kind of spoke to a little bit, but just to kind of clarify, what was the thought process in controlling everything and making sure that you had those guys under your own control, and in your own labor
So
force?
reference back to what you said, when you could have, a 2, 3 guy company come in and do a bathroom and do a whole kitchen and do everything just them. I was doing that. That's what I started as, where I was with this company.
Yeah,
And, I had sat back one day and was like, man, if I could get 15 of these going at the same time, we have something good going here.
right.
15 guys that can
Yeah,
do 90% of everything, you know. It's been a challenge to find those guys, and
yeah. Well, that's what I was just gonna say too, from a labor standpoint. Now, instead of looking for a guy that can, be a foreman on a job, or maybe, do the framing, which I know a lot of GCs, they only frame stuff out and then they hire all the specialty guys. But so rather than looking for a guy that can do, one thing very well, you've got to almost find guys that can
multiple.
do a number of
And
things,
then
right?
if we
Yeah,
find a guy that has, a certain skill in one thing that's really good at that, we'll kind of just focus him on that. Like, we brought in our own painter as of recently. So we have a full-time painter with a helper as well. And that's all they do. They paint all of our projects, interiors, exteriors, and we do it all in-house now. So it's really nice for
that's what I was just gonna get at
that's
next.
really
Yeah,
nice
that's
for me, because I
that's
can
smart, right?
charge good money hourly and still bill for my guy, and he gets paid very well. And we both are winning, and he knows that he's winning because he hasn't
Yeah,
been at any painting company that he's making $50 an hour spraying,
right,
but
right.
he can stain, he can lacquer, he can do every bit of it. And that's what really separates us too, because I don't think you can ask any of the guys that have been on this show with you that their guys can do that.
Yeah, no, like I said, you're in a very unique position at the size you're at, right? Like I said, I mean, I think it's pretty common to find a guy that has one or two employees that help him out, and like I say, kind of, reframe and remodel a kitchen or a bathroom. But to be able to do the work at the level you're doing it, and with the number of employees and the volume you're doing it, it's rare to be able to control all the labor as well. That's so. I mean, more power to you. I know that's probably got to add a little level of added stress for you as well, right? Because when you're controlling subs, it's, hey, do your job. Oh, you don't do your job? Well, it's your
You
problem,
don't get
right?
paid.
Because it's your job. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, obviously, it's on you because you're the one controlling it. But yeah, when you hire a sub, there's a lot
Oh,
less stress
100%.
than actually having the employee.
100%. And I mean,
Yeah.
if we're
So do you plan to go that way, kind of in perpetuity, right? I mean, even as you grow, do you see yourself, just bringing on guys and creating crews, and maybe having a specialty guy, to do a few things and kind of
yeah,
bounce around for you,
that's kind of
even as
what
you
I
grow?
want to do. I don't want to get too big to where I have to get rid of this system that I have, because I can only do this
Yeah.
for so long with so many guys before they're calling us to build a Salesforce. Hopefully Salesforce hit me up.
Right.
You know, and if we got the opportunity to go that big, I'd probably restructure the whole company and keep these guys still doing their thing, and then do something on the
Right.
side with that. Um, I don't want to get rid of the group that we have in the amount of where it's at. If not, try to add a few more guys. We are hiring, so anyone out there listening to this, you can reach me on Instagram, Facebook. Hit up Mike. Mike will tell you my number. And yeah, and I just want to stay where we are because it works so good, man. It's so cool to have, because a lot of guys, like you said, we're very rare that's what we're doing.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely puts you in a unique position. Kind of pivoting a little bit, touching on you brought up Instagram a little bit. I know you do what you can on there. Is that something you guys do deliberately, or something you guys have a specific plan for? Is
I
it just kind of
think it, man.
when things pop
when
up?
I remember, oh crap, I'm here at the job. Let me hop on Instagram. But we have so many moving parts every day, and I get on there when I can. I do need to make it a point to get a little bigger there. I mean, I just checked today, and let's see. I haven't been on in quite a bit, but I logged on today, and we had 120 new followers. So what we are posting, people are coming in to see. We went from 1,000 followers 5 months ago, and now we have 8,773. So definitely getting a following.
See, 1,300, 12 or 1,300 more followers, and then you get the swipe up, and you can, when you get to 10,000, you get to like add links to your story and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you need to get there, man. You're almost there. It's one of those things that I think, especially on the residential side, that's where your people are looking for you, right? Like that's where they're going when they more often than you think, right? I mean, I don't think that they're going there and saying, I don't think they're blindly searching around Instagram and going, hey, I need to find a contractor. Oh, here's these guys, let me call them up. I think it's more that if a friend tells them about Smith and Son, or even if you however you get a hold of them and you're bidding a job or whatever, you're talking to them, I can almost guarantee you there's a high percentage, 75-80% are probably, if they're not putting you into Google, they're looking for you on Instagram or Facebook or something else, and see if they can kind of see what your work looks like or what you've done in the past, for sure.
Yeah, I hired an SEO guy to just run Instagram and Facebook and all that. I had him for a couple months. What you had said, it is a valid point. They do look at that there, but we've seen from analytics everything that we did for the whole thing. We didn't get too much traction there on engagement. To reach out. We'd get the engagement of the people looking at the story, liking the photo, but that's not making us money. This is what we want at the end of the day. So we kind of hopped off of that with the whole Instagram thing with that, but Google, for guys out there that are looking for work, set up a Google My Business and get those real reviews from those clients you did the work for, because I've gotten more work from there this year after setting it up than I ever thought we would for residential side.
Yeah, no, that's super smart. I think a lot of people kind of think back to something like Yelp, but I mean, personally, and I might get shadow banned from Yelp, but not that I'm on there, but I feel like they're pretty political, right? I mean, to the point where like you can pay them to remove your negative reviews, and if somebody reviews you that isn't on Yelp all the time, then their review doesn't really get shown. If you're not active enough on Yelp, then your clients' reviews don't get shown. So I'm against it for sure. But
hands the 10th place person a trophy and says, "Good job."
Right.
Yep. And that goes back towards the kind of the workforce too. This drive that these guys have, it's like really soft anymore.
Yeah.
They don't get that real raw experience and the real truth to it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But going back to what you're saying, I mean, those Google reviews are powerful, right? I mean, I think that's where the future of reviews and testimonials and all those kind of things are going to go. So, like you said, I mean, pointing people to that, and not that you have to point consumers to that, but even going as far as somebody that you've done work for, saying, hey, this could really help us out if you don't mind, and ask them to kind of get on there for you is something that, like you said, could pay off pretty exponentially.
Yeah, no, most definitely.
Yeah.
And then, and at the end of the day, if you're out here doing good work, quality work that people are happy with, it'll happen, you
Yep.
know. Because I deal with so much work from these other jackwagon contractors out here that I'm having to fix their stuff. All you guys in the Bay Area doing that shit, knock it off. Put a little
Some,
pride in that
yeah,
work.
something tells me they're probably not listening. I mean, hopefully they are, but yeah,
Well, they might be. They're probably sitting at home with no work because of that.
yeah, maybe. So you say, I mean, kind of, you said that growing is a strategic decision, right? Not really looking to blow it up, but um, maybe geographically, are you looking to expand a little bit, or where do you kind of see yourselves headed in the next 3 to 5 years?
We'll probably expand size in our shop. Probably obtain maybe 10 more guys within a 5 year period, I'd say, that are full times, that stay here.
Yeah,
Um, that's. I don't want to be huge, man. I was part of so many huge companies, and then you started becoming a number.
yeah,
That's my thing. Like, I'm friends with my guys too. Like, we'll go do something. Talk to each other like a normal person. Not just like your boss all the time.
right.
That's what's cool about us is we're a really homey place too. Try to do lunches all the time. Let the guys work for 4 hours on a Friday, pay them for 8, come to the shop. Have food catered and have a good time and chit chat and everyone have a good weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, and it sounds like, and if I had to guess, you're doing it because that's who you are, right? That's built into the type of
Those
person
guys,
you are.
those
But
guys
I
go
feel
out
like,
every day for me. They make this whole thing go
yeah,
around. You know what I mean? If you're not taking care of your employees, you're never going to be successful.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say, right? It's almost something you kind of have to do. Not that you don't want to be seen as having to do something, right? Like if they feel like you're doing it because you have to, it's probably not coming off very genuine. But you almost have to change your mindset. If you're not that kind of person, I would say change your mindset. But again, not that you are. I think you are that kind of person. But for anybody
Oh,
else
yeah,
listening,
so too. So.
yeah, change your mindset so that you know you understand that that's something that you need to do and that what you should be doing for these employees. Because to your point, I mean, it's tough to find those people, right? So when you get them, you need to
Treat
make
them
sure that
good.
yeah, you need to make sure you're treating them well enough. And so, kind of obviously, you touched on a couple of things, but are there other things that you guys do for them to, because you care about them and because you um, are looking to keep them long term?
Yeah, if they get tools, we implement raises very often. Unfortunately, guys, I know you guys are listening, but um, we do all the paid vacations and stuff like that. Clothes, we do like regular work,
Yep,
style clothes for
yep.
our guys for at home and stuff like that. Vest, take care of them with that. So.
And I think the biggest one, honestly, like you already pointed to, is doing those things, like you said, like on a Friday
The
afternoon
little
every once in
things,
a while.
man,
Yeah. Well, those
show
are,
up
I mean, pointing,
back,
going back to what
put
you
some
said about
money
the,
for your guy.
yeah, and
Mm.
going back to what you said about the workforce and having that different mentality and whatnot. I mean, that's kind of how society is right now, right? They want to work somewhere where they know that they're cared about and that they have some of those other things, right? Like vacations and the t-shirts and all that stuff. A lot of people are doing that, but very few people or business owners are actually showing. Now, I don't want to say very few, but the successful ones are showing that they care about their employees too, right? That they do some of those things, like you said, with bringing in food and kind of that family atmosphere.
Yeah, most
Um,
definitely. That's a big thing. Everyone likes to genuinely feel that they're a part of something and their impact is huge on this. So
yeah,
I let them know. That's if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here.
yep,
And we're not perfect. Me and my guys, we fucking butt heads all the time. We go at it and we have our own opinions, but at the end of the day, we come to happy ground and we make it work.
Move forward. Yep. Keep pushing forward. Sounds good, brother. So, Lance, I mean, I always love talking to you. I think it's easy and you're awesome to talk with, and I'm glad we get to work together now too. But let the people know where to find you. I know you've touched on it a little bit, but what is your Instagram? What is your website?
So we're
How do you get hold of you?
smithandsonbayarea.com. You can find us on the internet. Go to Google My Business, type in Smith and Son Construction, Instagram Smith and Son Construction, Facebook Smith and Son Construction, LinkedIn Smith and Son Construction. We're located in Martinez, California. Any time, any place, we're there, big or small. So let us know.
Sounds good, brother.
Give us a call.
We'll make sure we link all that stuff for you
next year. But hey, it'll be worth the wait, I promise.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a follow up for sure.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, because it's if you get a chance, go back to listen. I mean, not that they're doing anything with it, but go back and listen to It Happened on the Job and it happened on the job.com. Find Lance's episode there, and then kind of listen to where he's at now. And it's awesome to kind of see the growth and kind of experience it firsthand. So I definitely appreciate you taking the time to come on, man.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me, and I look forward to getting on this next time with you, and hopefully we got some even better news next time.
Sounds good, brother. I appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
Right on, buddy. You too. Thanks.
Yep.
Hey, thanks for listening. If you had a good time, be sure to hit that subscribe button to get all the latest episodes. And if you had a really good time, leave a review to let us know what you thought. Until then, go gather some crazy stories on your job sites, and we'll see you next time on So, You Want to Be a Contractor.